sure there's some group out there who likes this sort of thing, and maybe he's got a future with some group like that.
So let's take an estimate or a prediction, if you will. If this actually makes it out of committee, let's say that it actually makes it out of committee, and since he's the chair, it might. How many of the, and we're talking the Senate only, how many senators do you think will actually vote for it?
I couldn't even begin to guess.
I couldn't fathom. It is a Republican Senate.
Yeah.
So I don't ever underestimate the ability of people to cast votes or trade votes for certain things. Hey, vote for this, and I'll vote for your bill on that. I would think that not more than a handful would be my hope.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unlikely to pass.
Is there a co-author or co-sponsor on that?
That's a good question. Let me pull up the bill. I've got it.
I don't see anything.
Well, I've got the bill in front. It just has his name on it.
Well,
but then again, this is. I mean, I downloaded the PDF of it right as it was coming out, so maybe. Let me check the.
I was thinking about all the ways that someone could be messed with if the bill were to pass. For example, the balaclava. You might see bike riders occasionally, particularly in the wintertime, that are wearing balaclava. It looks, it covers the face. It's kind of a, I don't know how to describe it. It covers the nose, but it has eye holes, nose holes, and a mouth, right?
Yeah.
And so people will ride bikes in the wintertime because, if you're driving or if you're riding at about 25 miles an hour, the wind chill during the winter is pretty cold. And so people will regularly wear those kinds of things. So I'm thinking, okay, so if you're riding in that and you blow through an intersection on a bike, as bicyclists are often likely to do, and they get pulled over, do they get cited for two things? I mean, is it at what point do we just create so many different ways for people to be messed with? It's just amazing to me.
Yeah,
and it leaves too much discretion to law enforcement. For example, if let's say you're maybe a girl and you put on a scarf because you didn't have on makeup that day and you were going in somewhere and I don't know, like somebody was there you wouldn't want to see you without makeup, and so you cover your face up a lot. Okay, and you look all clean cut and everything. Well, you're probably not going to get messed with by law enforcement, but let's say you're dirty, you've been working, you're in a beat-up truck, you have on a hoodie, you get out of your car, and you might be messed with. If this passed, the wearing of a hoodie would be illegal unless the weather, and how would you even gauge that? The weather. There is no certain temperature or wind chill listed in this bill. The weather, could it be that it's too sunny and you want the hood to protect your skin from the sun? What is the weather? What's the definition?
How about a dust mask? You're outside painting and you're wearing a dust mask.
What if you don't want to get sick on an airplane and you wear a surgical mask? People do that all the time.
Right. It's amazing to me that these guys have the audacity to call themselves limited government people. The absurdity of that is just hard to ponder, really.
So the Oklahoma Senate website does not list any co-authors.
I guess that can change at some point.
I can't imagine anyone's working.
Who would want to put their name on such a piece of dung?
Oh, good Lord, someone probably.
And there's no provision in the bill as to what kind of what are cops going to use to classify ill intentions.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, how far will they go to apprehend somebody who, is covering their face or wearing a hood?
right.
Who may or may not have been involved in some crime.
Right.
Well, with the amendatory language, you don't even have to have bad intentions. All you have to be is in public. That was the original bill has, you'd have to be, you're committing a crime and you're covering yourself because you're using that as an intimidation factor. But in the amendatory language, it just addresses merely wearing a mask in public. It doesn't, you could be mowing, well, your yard is private property, but let's say you were walking across the street wearing your yard mowing mask or your bandana or whatever because it's allergy season. It doesn't address intention or intimidation or any of that sort of thing. It's just wearing it in public.
Right. So it would give them an excuse to harass anybody.
Yeah, like they need any more excuses.
Exactly.
Well, you better keep your papers with you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
The great revenue generator or an enforcement nightmare?
That's what it is. They're trying to generate more revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody stands to make money out of this deal.
Always.
Ridiculous.
Yep. So there's a protest, right? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow it's not for the...
Oh, no, that's
not for the hoodie ban. That's for something else that we're actually going to touch on a little bit here later. But there is a protest. Let me find the date. I got an invite for it. I don't say it's February 2nd at the state capitol. Mm-hmm. It's Free the Hoodie protest.
Well, people should wear masks too. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Because that's what's scary.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to be wearing a hoodie tomorrow because it's cold. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm going to be wearing a hoodie tomorrow.
You might want to wear a mask too because it's cold enough for that.
I plan on it.
I want to wear a head covering. I want to wear a head covering because I don't want to fix my hair.
Can that be considered a medical or health condition?
Yeah. Yes.
I think a politician named Barrington can be considered a health condition. A mental health condition.
Yes.
I mean, I don't really understand the guy. He opposes marijuana. That's obviously a police state orientation. Although he said people in his church didn't agree with it, he's not going to vote for it. So I think he tried to make it a moral issue, but I think the truth is that it's a law enforcement issue, and that is for some reason, I guess, who butters his bread. And then the concealed carry on campus, which, I am a professor, and frankly, I think that we ought to have concealed carry on campus. And I've been an advocate for it, although I will tell you that I'm one of the few advocates there are in higher ed that do that, but I have advocated for concealed carry. And then you've got this deal, and it just seems like these characters are just so eaten up with authoritarianism, controlling they want to control literally what you consume, what you put on your body, your Second Amendment rights. They want to deprive you if you're on a college campus. It's hard to process this, whenever you hear the rhetoric coming from the GOP about how they are, quote unquote, a constitutional orientated party. It just doesn't jive, really.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're right. These guys, they go around saying that they're for limited government, and like I said earlier, they're the party of liberty, but they turn around and propose asinine laws like this. it makes you wonder why more people haven't jumped ship. You know.
Well, I'm glad that this law has been brought to our attention, though, because I mean, even what do you guys think about just the law without the amendatory language, but as it stands right now? Do you think that if there's a crime being committed, there should be additional punishment based on trying to conceal your identity, or should the punishment be based on the crime that was committed?
From my perspective, there's no question it should be on the crime you've committed. The clothing we're wearing is really beside the point. Attempts to try to control the kinds of things people wear on their face opens up people to the worst kinds of abuses. And I don't, if I were in a community where the police, routinely did a lot of checkpoints and stops and whatnot, I wouldn't feel comfortable with this at all.
No, I agree. I think the law, even as it stands now, gives the police too much latitude.
No, and it might just be that it gives the when you're facing a penalty, that your penalty increases. So I mean, it might not be so much the actual police, like arresting police, but the state stands to gain by more fines or more prison time, a longer prison sentence or whatever.
But it adds to it. It's kind of like if they're going to commit a crime, they're really not going to be thinking about the fact that they're concealing their identity, and it's going to add to their sentence.
Right, like he comes out and says, this bill's purpose is to deter crime. Are criminals really going to think, well, I better not go rob this bank while I'm wearing a hoodie?
No, exactly. It's like putting the no weapons allowed on businesses. It's criminals don't care. They're going to do it anyway if they want to. So it's ridiculous.
There's just absolutely no common sense with these people.
Nope.
Well, guys, we're going to go to break here, and when we get back, we're going to talk about subject number 2 of the evening, and we can jump back to this hoodie thing, but we're going to talk a little bit about our wonderful Attorney General.
Yay.
So we'll be back, folks, and hopefully everybody else will be back here with me. And you're listening to Liberty Unfiltered here on Vigilant Liberty Radio.
All right.
Hi, I'm Dustin Hoyt with America Our Way, and you can hear me right here on Vigilant Liberty Radio at 10/9 Central on Thursday nights. We bring you the best in political commentary from the right-wing, conservative, libertarian perspectives coming together and bringing...
This is Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for January 7th. Former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell has been sentenced to 2 years in prison on corruption charges. The prosecution sought a 10-year sentence, but after requests by associates and family of McDonnell, the judge issued the 2-year sentence instead. During his time as Virginia's governor, McDonnell and wife reportedly received bribes including a $6,500 Rolex, designer clothing worth $20,000, and free vacations. In exchange for these gifts, McDonnell promoted materials made by a company called Star Scientific Incorporated. McDonnell and his wife are scheduled to report to prison in February, but McDonnell plans to appeal his conviction. John Boehner was re-elected Speaker of the House for a third term after facing a rare divided vote in the House of Representatives. The last time this many people voted against a majority party Speaker nominee was in 1860, when Republicans split their vote between John Sherman of Ohio and Galusha Grow of Pennsylvania. Boehner's victory comes after reports he would retaliate against anyone who moved against his re-election. A total of 24 members of the House voted against Boehner, but Boehner still received 216 votes. Senators Chuck Grassley and Patrick Leahy have written a letter to the Department of Justice and Department of Homeland Security questioning the FBI's use of stingrays and the scope of exceptions in FBI policy. That policy requires the FBI obtain a warrant before